Welcome back to the Surf Mastery Podcast. Today's episode is another short episode. It's a little concept to think about on your next surf. The guest for today is Clayton Nienaber. He is a previous guest twice. So if you want to go back and listen to some of his long-form interviews, that's back at episode 14 and 25. I highly recommend those two episodes. And if you're new to the show, just remember that this podcast is an educational resource, so all the way back to episode 1, every episode is going to be relevant, and the idea is for each episode to be timeless. This little episode is on tension.
So I just got back from a boat trip in North Sumatra where Chris Mills and myself, we took 10 surfers away, and the first day the swell was up, and there was a bit of wind, so there were about 5 boats anchored in one little bay, so there's only one surf spot. And the amount of tension in the water, it was actually sickening. It was horrible to go surf. There were guys fresh off the boat, paddling for waves, pulling back. Very few people wanted to go up to the top because they're too scared, so they're sitting back, but they wanted waves and they weren't getting waves. And just, it was a really crappy feeling in the water for what we wanted to do. We were on a boat trip looking at finding nice waves, relaxing on a holiday, yet the feeling was horrible. So as soon as I started talking to people and throwing compliments at people and giving some good advice to people, the whole atmosphere in the wave changed. People started sharing waves, people started laughing and joking, and the level of surfing started to go through the roof. And I made it my point on that trip that we had the happy boat. So wherever we went, we spread joy and happiness, and our guys relaxed, and their surfing went through the roof. And on some of the other boats, the guys were almost fighting and bickering amongst each other to get waves, and you can actually see that the tension on those boats was pretty high. So purely by dropping the tension in the water and making it more fun and more enjoyable and more social, guys were actually able to start using better technique and better judgment, and all the guys had a fantastic trip. So the first thing that we do is you're not allowed to paddle more than 4 strokes. That was one of the rules. And you weren't allowed to splash paddling in. You had to glide into the waves, because if you can paddle in calmly, you will surf the wave calmly and rationally. So a good example, if you look at a car at a stop street, if you were to accelerate really, really fast, the car would wheel spin and it actually wouldn't get any traction, it wouldn't go anywhere. Whereas if you just pulled off at a medium pace with no force or tension, the car would actually go faster than the car with too much power. A lot of people dig themselves into holes and wheel spin trying to paddle so hard to get into a wave. When you watch the pros, they just stroke the water and glide in. And that was probably one of the turnaround moments with the guys on the trip, is just to get them to glide into waves. And then if you're scratching for a wave, like your mind's going 100 miles an hour, you're feeling tension, you're thinking too much, but when you just glide in, you start to see opportunities. You're like, there's the bottom, there's the top, the wave's moving at this type of pace, so I just got to match the pace. And you can start planning your wave so much better.
It's interesting. So it's like what the attitude in the water and in the group, like the etiquette and the politics, has a direct correlation to the way that you surf the wave.
100%. Have you ever walked into a room and someone's had an argument?
Yes.
Okay, you can feel that energy.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you walked into a room where maybe, I don't know, someone's done something funny and people are laughing, you quickly go, what happened? Tell me. You want in on the action.
Yeah.
But if you walk into a room and someone's had an argument, you want out. And there's that energy that you can feel. And when you surf, if you got that happy energy about you, you are going to have a cracker session. However, if someone's had an argument or a fight in the water, it just goes doom, and the energy just drops, and it's like, you're not going to get any waves. I honestly believe if you got a good vibrating energy in the water, waves are attracted to you, and you can sit out there having a bad day and waves will break everywhere and they won't break where you are, because you almost repel that energy.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like that.
Well, it must be a reality then. It's got to be something to it.
Yeah. So what are any practical tips on this thought? Any other sort of cues you were giving people on the trip?
So, do you know how to identify tension in your body?
Yeah. Personally, I feel lifting my shoulders, squinting my eyes, holding my belly in, that sort of stuff.
Yep. So, any stiff arm, clenched fist, like you said, scrunched up face, holding your breath. So if anybody can identify with any one of those things, they are going to struggle to move their body. But as soon as you relax and let go, you'll find that your body moves amazingly well. So if surfers can let go of tension, they are going to react and flow with the wave really, really well. But as soon as there's tension, your flow disappears, and that's when your board starts to stop and start, and when you start to kind of wobble and dig rails and so on when you surf.
Okay, I like that. So less tension both in the lineup and in your own body when you're on the wave.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right, man. Thank you.
No problem. Well, hopefully you guys surf and you enjoy it a bit.